My dear brothers and sisters, the sleep is not just rest for the body, it is a reset for the soul. The place where you sleep is one of the most intimate spaces of your life. It is where your body relaxes, your mind slows down, and your heart finds silence. That is why wisdom teaches us to be careful about what we keep near where we sleep. Today, let us reflect not with fear, but with understanding on 9 things we should avoid keeping near our sleeping place for the sake of our well-being, our peace, and our growth. Your mobile phone without control, this small device carries the whole world inside it: news, messages, images, and distractions. When it is beside your pillow, your mind never truly rests. Late night scrolling steals your sleep and your peace. Learn to create boundaries. Rest is a form of self-respect. Okay? Unresolved anger and hatred, you may not see it, but it is closer than anything else. Sleeping with anger in your heart keeps your soul restless. Forgiveness before sleep is not weakness, it is strength. A heart at peace sleeps better than a heart full of bitterness. Inappropriate or harmful content, whether on screens, books, or thoughts, what you expose yourself to before sleep shapes your dreams and your character. Guard your eyes and your mind. Clean input leads to clean thoughts. Dirty or cluttered items, a messy environment reflects and creates inner chaos. Cleanliness brings calm. Order brings focus. Even a small effort to tidy your sleeping space can bring surprising peace to your heart. You could have food and leftovers. Overeating or keeping food near where you sleep affects both body and discipline. Wisdom teaches moderation. Respect your body. It is a trust. Negative speech and complaints. If your last words before sleep are complaints, your mind carries that burden into the night. Replace complaints with gratitude. Count blessings, not problems. Objects that distract you from purpose. Anything that constantly pulls your heart away from growth. Reflection or responsibility should be kept away from your resting place. Sleep is preparation for tomorrow. Protect it. Stressful thoughts about tomorrow. Flaunting is good. Worrying is not. Do your best during the day, then leave the rest. Trust brings rest. Anxiety steals it. A forgetfulness of the Creator. The heart finds true rest when it remembers its purpose. A moment of reflection, gratitude, or quiet remembrance before sleep brings calm no medicine can replace. My dear brothers and sisters, your bedroom is not just a place to sleep, it is a place to recharge your soul. Remove what harms your peace and invite what nurtures it. Small changes bring big transformations. Sleep with a clean space, a clean heart, and a calm mind, and you will wake up stronger, clearer, and more grateful. May we all find rest that heals us and mornings that inspire us. Spiritual awareness is the understanding that the human heart and mind are deeply influenced by their surroundings, especially in moments of vulnerability, such as sleep. When a person lies down to rest, the body becomes still, but the soul remains receptive. In that quiet state, whatever surrounds an individual physically and emotionally leaves an imprint. This is why wise teachings emphasize mindfulness of the environment near where one sleeps. It is not merely about objects. It is about the unseen impact those objects and thoughts have on inner peace, clarity, and spiritual balance. The sleeping space is often the last place a person interacts with before consciousness fades. The final thoughts, sights, and emotions of the day gently settle into the heart. If that space is filled with distractions, negativity, or spiritually empty influences, the heart absorbs restlessness instead of calm. Over time, this can dull awareness, weaken focus, and make a person feel distant from meaning and purpose. Spiritual awareness teaches that rest should renew both body and soul, not leave one mentally exhausted despite hours of sleep. Awareness also means recognizing that peace is not accidental. It is cultivated. When someone is mindful of what they allow near their place of rest, they are actively choosing tranquility over chaos. A cluttered or noisy environment may seem harmless, but it subtly conditions the mind to remain alert and unsettled. The soul, which seeks stillness, struggles to find comfort in such conditions. Of dit spepelst me searchal subsace, reborn spiritual space. By contrast, a calm and intentional space encourages gratitude and humility qualities that strengthen spiritual consciousness. Another important dimension of spiritual awareness is understanding accountability. Every individual is responsible for guarding their heart. What one repeatedly sees, hears, or thinks about becomes part of their inner world. When a person allows harmful influences near their sleeping area, they expose their most defenseless moments to negativity. Spiritual mindfulness reminds us that protection of the heart is an act of wisdom, not extremism. Just as one protects the body from harm, the soul also deserves care and safeguarding. Spiritual awareness further develops when a person understands that sleep itself is a reminder of human limitation. Every night, control is temporarily surrendered. This reality encourages humility and reflection. Surrounding oneself with meaningful reminders rather than distractions helps reinforce purpose and gratitude. A heart that remembers higher values before sleep is more likely to awaken with clarity and motivation. This awareness transforms sleep from a routine habit into a spiritually enriching experience. Additionally, spiritual awareness teaches balance, not isolation. The message is not to fear objects or daily tools, but to use them wisely. Awareness allows a person to distinguish between benefit and harm. For example, technology can educate and connect, but when placed carelessly near rest, it dominates attention and interrupts inner calm. Recognizing this distinction is a sign of maturity and spiritual intelligence. It shows the ability to control habits rather than be controlled by them. Mindfulness of the sleeping environment also nurtures emotional regulation. When the soul rests in a peaceful setting, emotions stabilize. Anxiety, anger, and sadness lose their intensity when the heart is not overstimulated. Spiritual awareness acknowledges that emotional health and spiritual health are deeply connected. A restless heart often reflects neglect, not weakness. Addressing the environment becomes a practical step toward emotional and spiritual healing. Over time, this awareness builds discipline. Choosing calm over distraction each night strengthens self-control. Discipline is not developed through grand actions alone, but through consistent small choices. Removing harmful influences from the sleeping area trains the mind to prioritize long-term well-being over instant gratification. This discipline carries into other areas of life, improving focus, patience, and intentional living. Spiritual awareness also deepens gratitude. A peaceful resting place allows space for reflection on blessings rather than burdens. When the mind is not overwhelmed, it naturally turns toward appreciation. Gratitude softens the heart, reduces stress, and strengthens faith. This cycle of awareness, peace, and gratitude gradually elevates a person's inner state, making them more resilient to external pressures. Ultimately, spiritual awareness reminds individuals that the heart is shaped quietly, not loudly. What surrounds a person during rest may seem insignificant, but its influence is profound. By being mindful of the sleeping environment, one honors the soul's need for calm, meaning, and connection. This awareness is an educational practice rooted in wisdom, self-respect, and conscious living, guiding individuals toward inner peace without force or fear. Healthy living is not limited to diet and exercise. It also includes how and where a person rests. Sleep is one of the most powerful tools for maintaining physical, mental, and emotional health. The environment in which a person sleeps directly influences the quality of that rest. When the sleeping area is filled with distractions, noise, or unhealthy habits, the body may lie down, but true recovery does not take place. Educational awareness teaches that rest is a biological necessity, not a luxury, and it must be protected with intention. The human body follows natural rhythms that depend heavily on consistent and uninterrupted sleep. When these rhythms are disturbed by artificial light, excessive stimulation, or constant alerts, the body remains in a semi-alert state. This can lead to fatigue, headaches, poor concentration, and weakened immunity. Keeping unnecessary devices or stimulating objects near where one sleeps interferes with the body's ability to shift into deep rest. Over time, this disruption accumulates and affects overall health, even if the person believes they are sleeping enough hours. Mental health is also deeply connected to the sleeping environment. A cluttered or chaotic space can increase stress and anxiety without a person realizing it. The brain continues to process surroundings even during rest. When the mind senses disorder, it struggles to relax fully. Healthy living requires reducing mental load, especially at night. A calm, orderly space sends signals of safety and relaxation to the brain, allowing it to slow down and recover from the day's demands. Another aspect of healthy living is posture and physical comfort. Items placed near the sleeping area, such as improper pillows, clutter on the bed, or unsuitable bedding, can affect spinal alignment and muscle relaxation. Poor sleeping posture leads to back pain, neck strain, and long-term joint issues. Being mindful of what is kept near the bed encourages better organization and allows the body to rest in a natural, supportive position. This is a practical form of self-care rooted in awareness rather than luxury. Eating habits also influence sleep quality. Keeping food, snacks, or sugary drinks near the bed often leads to late-night eating, which disrupts digestion and metabolism. The body requires time to process food, and eating close to sleep can cause discomfort, acid reflux, and restless nights. Healthy living promotes mindful eating and proper timing, recognizing that discipline around sleep supports digestive health, weight balance, and energy levels. So emotional health is equally affected by nighttime habits. Engaging with stressful information or unresolved problems just before sleep keeps the nervous system active. The body releases stress hormones, making it difficult to enter deep sleep. Over time, this can contribute to chronic stress and mood instability. A healthy lifestyle encourages creating a mental boundary at night, allowing the mind to pause, reset, and prepare for the next day with clarity rather than exhaustion. Consistent sleep routines are another pillar of healthy living. When a person sleeps in an environment associated with calm and rest, the body learns to respond quickly by relaxing. If the sleeping area is also used for constant stimulation, entertainment, or work, the brain struggles to associate that space with rest. Separating rest from activity improves sleep efficiency and strengthens mental discipline. Healthy living also recognizes the long-term consequences of neglecting rest. Poor sleep habits are linked to heart issues, weakened immunity, hormonal imbalance, and reduced cognitive performance. These outcomes do not appear overnight but develop gradually. Educating oneself about these connections encourages proactive choices. Removing unhealthy influences from the sleeping area becomes an investment in long-term well-being rather than a temporary adjustment. Healthy living promotes balance and moderation. The goal is not perfection but consistency. Making small improvements to the sleeping environment, reducing noise, limiting distractions, and choosing comfort creates noticeable changes in energy and mood. When the body is well rested, it functions more efficiently, emotions become manageable, and the mind gains clarity. This holistic approach to health emphasizes that true wellness begins at night, in the quiet decisions made before sleep. Moral and emotional hygiene refers to the intentional care of one's inner state, just as physical hygiene refers to the care of the body. It involves being conscious of what enters the heart, what occupies the mind, and what emotions are allowed to settle within before rest. The place where a person sleeps becomes a private space where thoughts slow down and emotions surface. If this space is filled with negativity, unresolved conflict, or harmful influences, the heart carries that weight into the night, affecting emotional stability and moral clarity. Emotions that are ignored during the day often become louder at night. Anger, jealousy, regret, and resentment do not disappear simply because the body is tired. When these emotions are left unattended, they settle deeply into the heart during sleep. Moral and emotional hygiene teaches that one should not allow such feelings to remain unchecked. Clearing the heart before sleep through reflection, forgiveness, or calm thinking prevents emotional buildup that can lead to bitterness and inner unrest over time. Moral awareness also includes responsibility for one's thoughts. What a person repeatedly thinks about shapes their values and behavior. Exposure to harmful or inappropriate content before sleep lowers moral sensitivity, making negative thoughts feel normal. When such influences are kept close to the sleeping space, they quietly reshape attitudes and weaken self-discipline. Emotional hygiene encourages replacing such influences with thoughts that promote dignity, self-respect, and emotional balance. The sleeping environment can either reinforce negative patterns or help break them. Items that trigger unhealthy memories, regrets, or temptations keep the mind trapped in cycles of guilt or desire. Moral and emotional hygiene involves recognizing these triggers and removing them from personal spaces. This is not denial, but wisdom. By limiting exposure to emotional triggers at night, the heart is given room to heal and reset. Uncontrolled speech and mental replay of conversations also affect emotional cleanliness. Rehearsing arguments, insults, or past conflicts before sleep strengthens emotional wounds. The mind continues to process these thoughts during rest, leading to disturbed sleep and heightened emotional sensitivity. Practicing emotional hygiene means choosing silence over mental noise and restraint over reaction. This discipline protects inner peace and strengthens emotional resilience. Another important aspect is the habit of comparison. Thoughts of envy or self-judgment often surface in quiet moments. Keeping reminders of others' success or unrealistic standards near the sleeping area fuels dissatisfaction and low self-worth. Emotional hygiene teaches contentment and self-acceptance. A heart that rests without comparison sleeps with dignity and awakens with confidence. Moral hygiene also includes accountability for intentions. Before sleep, intentions should be examined, not ignored. A person who reflects on their actions and corrects their intentions develops integrity. This nightly self-awareness strengthens moral clarity and prevents repeated mistakes. Ignoring this process allows small moral compromises to grow unnoticed. Emotional hygiene encourages forgiveness, not because others deserve it, but because the heart deserves peace. Holding on to grudges tightens the heart and exhausts emotional energy. Choosing to release resentment before sleep frees the soul from carrying unnecessary burdens. This practice does not erase accountability but restores emotional balance. Over time, consistent moral and emotional hygiene refines character. The heart becomes less reactive and more thoughtful. Emotional stability improves and moral decisions become clearer. The sleeping space transforms into a place of renewal rather than emotional confrontation. This quiet discipline strengthens inner peace and self-respect, allowing a person to grow emotionally and morally without external pressure or judgment. Practical education focuses on translating awareness into simple, achievable actions that improve daily life. It emphasizes that meaningful change does not always require complex theories or extreme measures, but rather consistent and informed choices. When it comes to the sleeping environment, practical education teaches individuals to observe their habits honestly and adjust them in ways that are realistic and sustainable. This approach removes fear and superstition, replacing them with understanding and personal responsibility. A key principle of practical education is clarity. People often overlook the impact of their surroundings because the effects are gradual rather than immediate. Educational guidance helps connect cause and effect, showing how certain objects or habits near the sleeping area lead to restlessness, fatigue, or emotional imbalance. When individuals understand these connections, they are more motivated to make changes because the reasoning is logical and evidence-based, not imposed or exaggerated. Practical education also values accessibility. Advice must be easy to apply regardless of lifestyle or resources. Improving a sleeping space does not require expensive furniture or complete redesign. Small steps such as reducing clutter, dimming lights, or setting a consistent bedtime can significantly improve sleep quality. This educational approach empowers individuals by showing that improvement is within reach, not reserved for a select few. Another important aspect is habit building. Knowledge alone does not create change unless it is practiced consistently. Practical education encourages routines that support long-term benefits. For example, placing distracting items away from the bed trains the mind to associate that space with rest. Over time, this association becomes automatic, making it easier to relax and sleep. This gradual conditioning is more effective than sudden, short-lived efforts. Practical education also promotes self-observation. Individuals are encouraged to notice how they feel after certain habits, such as using devices late at night or sleeping in a cluttered space. This self-feedback strengthens learning and personal accountability. Rather than following advice blindly, people learn from their own experience, which makes the lessons more meaningful and lasting. Flexibility is another educational principle. Practical guidance acknowledges that people differ in needs and circumstances. What matters is intention and effort, not perfection. If a person cannot change everything at once, they are encouraged to improve one habit at a time. This reduces frustration and builds confidence. Education that respects human limitations is more effective than rigid instruction. Practical education also discourages fear-based thinking. Instead of warning people with exaggerated consequences, it explains benefits calmly. When individuals understand that a peaceful sleeping environment improves focus, mood, and energy, they act out of self-care rather than fear. This positive motivation fosters consistency and emotional well-being. Another element is prioritization. Practical education helps individuals distinguish between what is essential and what is optional. By identifying which items or habits truly interfere with rest, people can make targeted changes rather than feeling overwhelmed. This structured approach simplifies decision-making and reduces mental load over time. Practical education cultivates independence. Individuals become capable of adjusting their environment as life changes. They learn principles rather than rigid rules, allowing them to adapt with wisdom. This independence builds confidence and self-respect, reinforcing the idea that well-being is a personal responsibility guided by knowledge. Through this educational approach, everyday choices gain meaning. The sleeping space becomes a practical classroom where discipline, awareness, and self-care are practiced daily. These lessons, though simple, create lasting improvement in physical comfort, emotional balance, and overall quality of life.